The first thing I considered with this project was the pacing. I didn't want to get straight into the fight scene, I wanted to take time to explore the world in which the fight actually takes place. I also found that longer measured shots suited the boss character quite well, who is shown in this opening section to be very detail oriented and takes plenty of time with each of his actions. Slowly dusting off a glass, or carefully placing his blades on the back of a chair. I also felt that focusing on these carefully coordinated actions would provide a decent contrast to the rough and heavy fighting that would be taking place soon after. One of the most important aspects of this project was the sound design. Using the right kind of sound in the right places would really help lend a sense of realism to the scene, and was one of my primary focuses while cutting the scene. My primary resource for this was Epidemic Sound, a subscription-based service that offers many different kinds of high-quality sound effects and songs. The service also had the unique advantage of providing stems for every song it had on it. For example, the song I used in the scene has a melody, bass line, instrumentation, and drum stem. I could use these together as a fully mixed song, or build upon each element as I needed, subtly building intensity as the scene went on. This did require careful attention to the timing of each stem, as getting this wrong provided distracting results, as you can hear in this example. I also used freesound.org, a popular website that hosts a wide range of user-submitted sound effects free of charge. While there are good sound effects within this website, they are much harder to come by compared to Epidemic Sound. Here's an example of the top punch sound effect on both websites. Freesound.org also has potential concerns with rights usage, with each sound effect having its own license that must be considered. With Epidemic Sound, every sound effect is covered for both commercial and non-commercial use. I found mixing the sounds correctly to be a challenge, though an important part of the process. Grounding the sound effects by adding reverb to them while making sure they were the same volume they would be in a real environment, for example the phone alert being rather quiet and distant sounding instead of being the loudest sound in the scene, was important in making sure the scene felt right, and something I made sure to spend quite a bit of time on. I also want to touch on the colour grading of the footage. The original finished cut is graded to be contrasty and vibrant, and while I think this has a nice look to it, I didn't think it quite suited the feel of a pulpy action-heavy fight scene. In this case, I made the decision to dull down the colours and add cooler tones to them, signifying a colder, more hostile environment. I did find Avid's colour grading capabilities to be rather limited compared to other software that I've used, but they were absolutely enough for this style of project and especially for my ability level, and I think the final result suits the action quite well. This was also taken into account with the CCTV footage, with the decision to make it black and white as well as grain heavy to make it look like footage from an older security system. I considered lowering the frame rate of this footage to further cement this look, but upon trying it out I found it too distracting and returned it back to its original pace. When it came to the actual fight scene section of the project, I wanted to make the best of the performances given in camera. This meant that I didn't want to cut between shots too rapidly, as I felt that approach would lessen the impact of each punch. Trying to keep several hits in the same shot makes them feel more realistic and that they are actually connecting. I didn't want the scene to feel like we were switching over to stuntman with every cut, especially considering that this wasn't actually happening. This is also why there is a hidden cut in one of these shots. I don't find it to be seamless, but I do think that it's close enough that it isn't something that's likely to be noticed on the first watch. In conclusion, I definitely found the scene to be more of a challenge to put together than I was expecting, but I think the final result turned out alright and does a decent job of conveying the action carried out in the footage. Thank you for watching.